I, Nidhi Gaur, Assistant Professor, Department of BBA from IIMT College of Management, is going to deliver a lecture. And in today's lecture, we'll talk about a rare but new terminology, that is diversity and inclusion. So, in today's lecture, what all contents which will be covered are the contents which are we are going to cover is first, what is diversity? That what does that word mean? What is diversity? Next is, why is it necessary to understand diversity? Why it is very important to understand this word, and why we are having this lecture on diversity and inclusion. Difference between diversity and inclusion. This point should be noted that there is a fine line of difference between diversity and inclusion, right? So, what is the difference? We will be covering in the next slides. Importance of diversity and inclusion at college or at any workplace for that matter, right? We'll be taking that in the slide, that what is the importance of diversity and inclusion at any workplace at and also at an institutions like college. Fostering diversity and inclusion at college level, right? How we can foster diversity and inclusion at any college or at any workplace. Some famous examples of workplace embracing DEI. Some famous examples who are fostering the diversity, equality, and inclusion at their workplaces. How and what policies they are having for diversity and inclusion. And last but not the least, barriers to diversity, all the hurdles and all the obstacles which we can say that yes, these are the barriers which are in between diversity and inclusion, and these barriers object the diversity to be inculcated in the workplace. So why diversity? Why is it is very important to understand this word? So I'll be quoting this quote from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, that little pools of water tends to become stagnant and useless. There are little pools of water that are separated and they are not for any use. They will be useless. But if they're united together, if they are joined together, they will form a lake, and which will be beneficial to the atmosphere, which will be beneficial for the humans, and the atmosphere will be cooled, and there is a universal benefit. So what do we understand by this? That people are coming from diverse culture, diverse background, and diverse experiences. But then if you are not having the benefit of this diversity, then they are useless, then their experiences are useless. But when their diversity is united, then it will be a universal benefit for the organization and for the individual also. Now, the next thing is, what is the difference between diversity and inclusion? As I already said, that there is a fine line of difference between diversity and inclusion, and we often sometimes confuse between the two terms. Now, what is written over there, and what according to my opinion is, inclusion is developing the practice of implementing strategies. Inclusion is developing that environment of welcoming diversity. Inclusion is developing that environment in where you will make the diversity work, and it is also the environment of making people feel and fair and just, right? Inclusion is sometimes mistaken with diversity, and it will lead to a term which is tokenism. Now, what is tokenism means? Tokenism means that you are including one member from the minority, right? You are including one woman in a group of men. But if you are not taking suggestions from that women, or if the woman is not feeling welcomed or fair or just, then the diversity is failed at that stage, right? So tokenism, it will lead to what? Tokenism. So for eliminating that tokenism, there should be a better understanding of what diversity and what inclusion is. Now, to sum up the differences between diversity and inclusion, we can clearly quote by US social commentator Varna Myers, who said that diversity is being invited to a party. If you are invited to a party, that is diversity, that is okay. But inclusion is being asked to dance. But when you are asked to dance, that will be inclusion. That is not diversity. That will cover under diversity. But inclusion is when you are being asked to dance. My next topic is importance of diversity and inclusion at workplace. Why diversity and inclusion is important at any workplace or at any college or at any institution. So First of all, it will enhance creativity and innovation, right? When you have people from diverse backgrounds, when you have people from diverse nature, from when you have people from diverse experiences, it will ultimately enhance your creativity, the organization's creativity and innovation. Some innovative ideas will be welcomed, some innovative creativity is welcomed, and it will eventually, the next importance is, it will eventually leads to the better decision making or the better problem solving, right? When you have the creativity and innovation, it will have a better solution, or every problem has a better solution, every problem has a better decision making and better problem solving. Next, it will improve academic performance. Now, academic performance is concerned with the workplace like college, right? So, it will improve the academic performance. It will improve the academic performance of the students and also the performances of the faculties. If you have that knowledge of how the diversity and inclusion should be inculcated among the students, how the students should understand the meaning of diversity and inclusion, then it will be ultimately improve the performance of the students. Next, prepare students for the better future success, because school and the college are the first pillar of learning and growth. So students will learn how to interact with the people with the diverse nature and with the diverse background, and it will prepare them for the better future success. Next is more positive campus where students feel valued and supported, right? So students will be having that positivity around them, and they will feel valued and supported. And the last is promote social cohesion. Now, what is social cohesion and what is cohesion means that the cohesion means that the attachment among the students, the bonding among the students, the empathetic attitude and behavior among the students, right? So it will promote the social cohesion and it will promote the social bonding among them. Last but not the least, the economic benefits. When students will perform better, the faculties also will perform better, right? When the students, when the feedback from the students are great, then obviously the workplace, the institution will improve their performances, will have that better success rate, and it will have that economic benefits. Last, encouraging learning and personal growth. It will encourage learning and personal growth among the students. It will encourage creativity and innovation among the students. It will encourage and improve learning and personal growth among the students, that how you should interact with the people from the diverse nature. Now, the next slide is embracing diversity, equality, and inclusion at workplace. How you can foster diversity and equality among workplace. Now, first is engage with employees. You need to engage with employees, and a constant engagement of employees is necessary at your workplace. Employees are working, okay, but is the employee engaged with the organization? Is the employee feel welcome in the organization? It is very necessary. So, employee engagement or engagement with the employees from the organization side is very important. Next is mixing up your teams. As we already know that there are cross-functional teams, there are cross-cultural teams also. So, mixing up your teams means that your team should be mixed. There should be people from different age, there should be people from different background, different experiences. So if you mix up your teams, it will be improve better when new suggestions, new ideas will be welcomed, right? So mixing up your teams, it can embrace diversity and inclusion at your workplace. Make it easy for your people to participate in employee resource groups. What is employee resource groups? Employee resource groups are the groups which are made for fostering the diversity and inclusion at your workplace. We will be talking about an example of a corporate workplace who have that employee resource groups, who have that affinity groups where employees feel welcome and where you find the employees with the similar interest or with the similarity among themselves. Next is facilitate ongoing feedback. Now, ongoing feedback, like I said, engagement is with employees is very necessary. So, constant feedback from employees is necessary for the embracing diversity and inclusion. Constant feedback should be coming from the employees. So constant reviews from the should be coming from the employees. Next is assessing company policies. Now, if you have made company policies regarding diversity, inclusion, or equality, then Assessment of company policies is very necessary. Assessment can be done quarterly, can be done annually, can be done monthly, or the assessment can be also done on the basis of the results which are being taken, on the basis of the results which are seen. So assessment of company policies is necessary. Next is promoting pay equity. Now, promoting pay equity is the basic step to embrace diversity and inclusion at the workplace. There should be a same salary or same wages for the same grade of job and for the same bar of job, right? Next is developing organizational policies. Now, if you have not developed that organizational policies and if you are having employees from diverse backgrounds, then you should develop better organizational policies and strategies to foster the diversity and inclusion at the workplace. The next slide is the steps to foster diversity, inclusion, and equality at college level. How we can embrace diversity and inclusion at college level. Now, first of all, we need to rethink policies. We need to reassess policies, that what policies are being made for the diversity, inclusion, and equality, and what policies need to be renovate, what policies need to be renewed, and what policies need to be rethink, and what policies which are already there at the college level. Next is ensure inclusivity is embedded in your institutional structures. Inclusivity and diversity should be inculcated from the very foundation of your college and from the very first stage of your college level. So institutional structure should be embedded with inclusivity, and there should be inclusion, a sense of inclusion and diversity in the institutional structures. Next is help campus leaders understand their role. Now, campus leaders are the people who are at the top management, who are the top hierarchy, and they had the idea of building an institution which will embrace diversity and inclusion at the college level. So, the campus leaders should understand their roles, should understand their part, that where their role is to build an institution, to build a place where the students, where the faculties are being feel welcome for their diverse experiences, for their diverse culture and age. Last, educate campus leaders about inclusion. If the campus leaders are not educated, if the campus leaders are not understood about their role in the diversity and inclusion, there cannot be any diversity and there cannot be any environment which welcome the diversity and inclusion. So this is the snapshot of students having diversity, or students have that feeling of welcoming, or having that feeling of having that feeling of bond among themselves. Now, these are some of the examples which are embracing diversity and inclusion at their workplaces. First is the Pacific University. Now, the Pacific University have that provision of Office of Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, and Accessibility. Now, what the role of this office is? The primary role of the office is to lead and manage an institution-wide effort to support and further develop a diverse community of faculty, students, not only students but also faculty and staff at Pacific University, through development and programming that foster equity inclusion in the broadest sense possible. So their commitment is to develop a community, a diverse community of students, faculty, and staff at their university, and to support them to develop the policies for the diversity and inclusion. The next example is Essential. Essential, as we already know, that a corporate or at a company which deals in professional services and consulting. Now, the number of employees if we see are 7,38,000 plus employees, and what their policy is regarding diversity and inclusion. The Essential has an unwavering commitment. They have that commitment to diversity and inclusion. They have that 360-degree value for their clients and their communities and their stakeholders, right? And according to the Refinitiv Diversity and Inclusion Index, Accenture has a strong commitment to creating a culture of belonging and equity. So, and they also had $1.1 billion in L&D opportunities for the people. Now, the third example is Marriott. So what Marriott is doing, that they have an inclusive environment that supports the recruitment, retention, and advancement. So here we note that not only the recruitment of the people from the diverse background you have, but also there should be a retention and there should be advancement of the employees. As we have already discussed, that there should be the employee engagement and improvement of the performances of the employee. which will engage in efforts to develop a diverse and inclusive workplace, owner, guest, and supplier base. So, according to them and according to their policies, 53% of the workplace is women, while people of color make up to 66%. And according to Forbes, they have that best employers for diversity. Merit International also partners with more than 4,000 diverse owned companies in various areas of the supply chain every year. So, they are having a great policy regarding the diversity and inclusion. Now, University of Geneva, which is situated and located in Switzerland, they have the policy of equal opportunities matter. According to them, they are providing the equal opportunities is going to better for them. The equality, diversity, and inclusion has been a priority for the rectorate of the university. Rectorate is the one person who is the officer who is the head of the University of Geneva since the establishment of Equal Opportunities Office. The office reports directly to the rector since 2017, and they are having that policy of the female professors breakfast with the rector attending the network conferences, artistic performances, and they have also a collaboration with the Film Festival of Geneva International, which is a forum of human rights, right? So, and also the EOO, the Equal Opportunity Office, has implemented a mentoring program which aims to encourage young female researchers. There are currently 4 female professors of the program that act as mentors. So, we are watching that equal opportunity matter or the provision of equal opportunity matter is a great initiative by University of Geneva, and they are promoting female empowerment, or they are promoting the female encouragement at a very great level. Now, the next example is the Amazon. Amazon has that policy of making the affinity groups that we have already discussed, the employee resource groups. So they have 13 affinity groups, which says that Amazon people with disabilities, women in engineering, Amazon Asians at the rate, Amazon Black Employee Network, body positive peers, Amazon Indigenous, and these all are the 13 affinity groups which are being made by the Amazon, and they will help together. This will be this will be given be these groups bring people together across the company and around the world. The next slide is barriers in diversity and inclusion. That what all are the barriers which happens in diversity and inclusion, and why people are not able to inculcate that stage of diversity and inclusion at their workplace which they want. First is unconscious bias. We all have that prejudices or unconscious bias regarding people. We all stereotype people on the basis of their caste, their culture, their age, their experience. We all stereotype that, right? So it should be eliminated. It should be removed. That stereotyping should be removed from the mind of us, and the unconscious biasness should be removed from the minds of the people, so that the diversity and inclusion could be inculcated in the workplace. Next is lack of role models. If the organizations are not having role models who give live examples or who is a live example of diversity and inclusion, then people cannot follow, and then people cannot understand what kind of diversity you need to have in the organization. So role models should be there, and role models should not be necessary at the top management. It could be of middle level management, it could be of lower level management. So role model should be there who can have the live examples of diversity and inclusion. Next is communication barriers. Communication barriers should be removed. If you are having the employees from diverse background and diverse culture and diverse caste, diverse age, then the communication barrier, the flow of communication should be proper. There should be not any barrier to communication that people are having lack of information about anything. Next is the lack of training. The training should be such like that people, when go on after onboarding to the corporate life, they know that what kind of diversity is already being there and what new steps or new suggestions or new initiatives could be taken for that diversity and inclusion. So, from the basic level of teaching employees that how diversity and inclusion or how you can embrace diversity at workplace should be taught. The next is workplace bullying. Workplace bullying should be eliminated and removed as immediate as possible, and it should be banned at the workplace. The people from the higher experiences or the higher management should not bully the people or bully the employees who are being pressured to the organization. Workplace bullying should be banned, and it is a big barrier in diversity and inclusion. Last but not the least, lack of organization policies. As I already said, that if you have not developed organizational policies regarding the diversity and inclusion, you need to develop that organization policy. You need to have that initiative of policies. You need to have a separate department for the diversity and inclusion. You need to have a separate complaint box, suggestion box. You need to have that policies from which people believe that they are being listened, they are being heard, they are being welcomed, and they feel fair and just. That's it from my side. Thank you so much and have a great day.